Hello, my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm reaching out to all of you beautiful souls. I hope you're able to get out in nature and wherever you are. I don't know where you are. Some of you might know where you live, or at least what town, and make sure you bring plenty of water. I have like 3 bottles of water and a quarter. Not a quarter. Does Starlight even have a quarter? Not here. But anyway, reaching out to all of you. I hope that you're, taking good care of yourself and standing up for yourself. Don't let anybody push you around, control you or abuse you. There's people like Starlight and other people out on the YouTube that they're inspiring and teaching, and not that I know it all, absolutely not. I am a student at the same time. So anyway, welcome to my YouTube channel, and you could find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. Plus, you could give this video a thumbs up. That is if you want to be that change in the world. And not only you could give it a thumbs up, you can also leave a message down below. Don't be shy, just reach out, say hello, and or say anything, like pleasant stuff though. Besides liking my video and leaving me a message, you can also push the notification bell. That way you do not miss any videos. And you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, you could share my videos, and you can check out my playlist. Plus, you can find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman Starlight. So here we go on a special video, and I am so sorry. I would have had this video made already, but because things have been going on in my life, I wasn't really focused on all these things at the time, but I caught it on the day. So this is going to be a little bit late for all you dads, or of course, like granddads, is for Happy Father's Day. So this is a Happy Father's Day to all those men out there. I'm actually a father too, so Happy Father's Day, Starla. Oh, thank you. And so that's funny, because I called up my son today, and no kidding, I was calling him up to say Happy Father's Day to him, because he's a father. And right when I called him, he said Happy Father's Day to his mom. He's done that throughout my whole life. So that is so special. So anyway, Happy Father's Day to all of you. And I don't know like how old your kids are. I don't know how many do you got running around? They're not running around anymore? Oh, they're grown up? Oh, okay, that's okay. Well, they're still running around somewhere, right? Yeah. So, like mine are actually about the same, distance away from where I am, like there they are. They're one over here, one over there. I'm the, I guess, the monkey in the middle. So, anyway, yeah, it's Happy Father's Day, and this video is mainly to help out the fathers that have really gave their all and really tried. And like I put a Mother's Day video out, of course, ahead of time for Mother's Day. So on the Father's Day is, like today, I called up my daughter's father and said, hey, thank you for stepping in and helping out, and I appreciate you. So Happy Father's Day. But the question is, does everybody deserve a Happy Father's Day or even a Mother's Day? Yeah, some of you is like, no way, some of, so, and that is okay. Sometimes we gotta, we gotta be honest with ourselves, when we say Happy Father's Day. This is to fathers that really did not do a good job and made, maybe big, huge mistakes. Maybe they never got right with their kids and said, I'm sorry for how I was to you when you were just a kid. So And this is a very hard topic because we all come from different backgrounds. Some of you came from parents that actually were great, maybe the dad was, maybe the wife wasn't, mommy wasn't. So we all come from different backgrounds, and then of course there's people that didn't have the greatest upbringing, and there's many reasons why. So for those of you that had great dads, out there that really, really, not that they're perfect. This is not about perfect fathers, because there's not one out there. Is the dads out there that you might have not have been there their whole life when they were little, but are you there now? I know it's different, right? You don't know them, they're like a stranger. Well, that happens, so, but the right thing is to reach out to them anyway. Let them know that you're there now. Don't, because there's a lot of people, they beat themselves up over this topic, they feel guilty, and then the more they feel guilty, the more they put it off on the back burner, about seeing their kids or visiting, and they might be little and they might not even know you or whatever, but starting somewhere is a good place to start. So I do love, because it means a lot to your children when they get older, believe me. It's about creating happy memories for them, and not that every family is always going to be happy, joy all the time. We are, as a family, we're always going to have some things that pop up, and where parents, including myself, might make the wrong choice or react the wrong way. But it's best to apologize to your kids, and also because they need to learn that, what, I'm your mom, or I'm your dad, or I'm your both, like I am. And let them know is I am sorry, and I'm not perfect, and there's no one out there perfect. They need to understand these things, because the way the public school teaches kids, or even the churches, where, ooh, you sin, you're not allowed to do that, you're going to get beat for that, so, there's, I'm, God has been very patient with me as far as, Starlight, not doing always the right thing, or not getting to that point where I'm not grown enough, where I'm trying, where, maybe it's an inch by inch kind of process, as far as depending on what you're working on in life. But, God is so patient with all of us. So we need to be patient, with our kids and other people, so this is a big, huge lesson in life that I've been learning, is patience. There's a lot in the Bible about patience. So if you, have a dad, and they were a great dad, not that they were perfect, but they taught you stuff, and there's things that they might have done that they know was wrong, and they might have got right with you about it, and that's where we have to forgive them. We have to forgive them no matter if they did, but, about as forgiving them, you can forgive them, but it doesn't mean that you have to live with them. It doesn't mean that you have to visit them. It is so important, but if we know the people and they were not a good dad, they were a bad example on teaching the wrong kind of stuff, because guess what? They're out there, or where you've been abused and you never heard the words, I'm sorry, they never even act like it never happened. It never happened. Wow. But, so you have to decide on your own as far as being you could be a dad right now, or you might be a son that has a dad. And, so it's up to you what you do for Father's Day. And if your dad was a great dad, or maybe you're a great dad, then hey, you got to make sure that those great dads know how great they were, and tell them the things, label some things, and say, hey, thank you for teaching me that, or hey, thank you for having my back, and thank you for being a good example, thank you for being real and being honest, thank you for not being one way at the house and one way out in public. Thank you for not acting like, you got a favorite, brother, a sister, not a sister, but a son or daughter. So, because that happens in a lot of families, where families got their favorites. And there shouldn't be any favorite. You all should be a favorite. You're my favorite daughter, you're my favorite daughter, you're my favorite son, you're my favorite son. it shouldn't be, like that one's my favorite, And so if you were a good dad, you were there, you made sure that they were safe, you were teaching them and getting them ready for the real world later on. Like, be honest is a great way of being a good example as far as being a father, being, and teach them about communication skills. And, a lot of dads have a hard time, and even mothers, about like things that they're dealing with in their own life, in their own bodies, like tempers and like getting upset, getting up, really having like triggers that would cause you to get upset and angry. And that is not really a good thing to have when you have kids, because that's where abuse comes from a lot of times, is because they weren't able to control those emotions that they felt. So it's good, as far as daddies go, is to always check in with, the temper. And, even like people with road rage, is if you get upset about something and you're out driving, instead of just driving around, and you could have your family with you, because that does happen, is the best thing to do is, why don't you just pull over and find a safe area to pull over, like a park maybe. Maybe you need to just take the family out for a walk. You don't even have to say anything. Just get away from the wheel, Don't like be driving with your family, or even you, because of getting upset. Maybe somebody got you upset and you're not handling your emotions correct, not feeling them out. You don't want to feel them out. So don't let those emotions control you, So as a father, that's what a lot of times fear happens with kids. They get afraid of their dads because they see the rage in them, or the anger, the spirit of anger in them, and the kids end up fearing that. So make sure you take care of the anger issues, in a good, healthy way. And, so you got to find something that works. That go and find, somewhere, what, I'll tell you, this will relax you. Starlight used to do, it's fun. You'll get a lot of thrill out of it. Is if you got anger issues, now I don't know, you got to know the wood out in the tree, out in the nature trails or wherever, if there's some land somewhere and there's a lot of trees and branches that fell, Starlight used to do this, not for anger management exercise, but I used to make forts out in woods, so in a woods somewhere off of a bike trail. And I used to, it's fun as a girl, it strengthened me. I'm like a tomboy when I get out in the woods somewhere, and I would find certain size small trees that fell because I needed a roof. Sometimes I needed a wall, and I was looking for certain size branches, or sticks that were laying around on the ground. And sometimes I would find long, I already used a ball, I already picked up all the small sticks, and then I was looking around for bigger sticks, so then I could break them out in the woods. And I got some really awesome techniques as far as how to break it. It's really cool what Starlight does behind the scenes in the woods, especially if I'm going to build a fort, want to build a fort. So I actually used to break sticks across the trees, like figure out, okay, I'm going to just bam, or pry bar them in between other trees. And, I'll tell you, I've had some tree branches, like putting them in a Y, like a tree that's got a Y somehow or another, and you just stick that big branch in there, and then you're going to take it and bring it around, and it's going to make it snap, like a pry bar, kind of prying it to snap. And you just got to figure out how big or short you want these pieces, and where to, like you got a tree like that, and that's a great, I'm looking at one right here, and I'm like, yeah, that's a great tree to kind of put another stick inside of that and use it, turn it, so you can actually break it. And that's a great exercise of going out. You want to work on anger issues, start building a fort out in the woods, just the trees that are laying around and the branches. You'll get a good workout. That is a great workout. It really does. It makes you feel empowered, and it really makes you feel confident and good, and it kind of gets rid of those other, anger feelings. It makes you just feel strong. You can adjust your thoughts, So it's a great exercise. I would, maybe, I would have to find a special hiking trail somewhere to do that. That would be a triple video, is to watch starlight like act like cave woman out in the woods. I'm very creative. So anyway, is besides all these, being a good father, if you were a great dad to your son right now, like my son, I just said Happy Father's Day to him, and I'm like, wow, I'm amazed how he's been as an example. I'm proud of my kids as far as what they're teaching their kids, and I got 2 grandkids. So, and this is, how do they learn that? They learn it from their moms and dads. Hopefully, sometimes we have to learn how to be a parent by ourselves, like I did. I learned it on my own, and other things I learned on my own. Like, and every child, we all learn different things different ways. A lot of times we end up changing things the way our parents did. Well, you might have a list of, okay, how did they do that? I didn't like that, let's check that off. So it's up to you how you bring up your kids, and what you let them get away with, it's all, and all is good, as long, just don't abuse your kids, don't take your frustrations out on them, and if you know that I know that I know that you weren't a perfect father. I wasn't a perfect mom. It's okay. The kids need to see that. So if you really gave your all, you were, you tried, you battled, to be there, and sometimes people have obstacles in their way when they're trying to see their own kids. Sometimes the other, the absent parent doesn't even want you to see the kids. This is cool. So, for the ones that are so blessed to be able to, maybe you have a great mommy or a wife, for the child, and I hope so. And if you're not in a good relationship with somebody, to be a good example to your kids as far as a mommy or a wife goes, that's why it's so important when any man gets involved with a female, is make sure you do your work. Don't go by the outer beauty to say, hey, I want that girl, and that's exactly how I could picture her being a good mom for my kids. Is you got to be picky. What kind of things do they do? Are they honest? So you really got to learn that female really good, and to make sure she's going to be the right kind of mom. What does she believe in? What does she practice? What does she know? What she, is she going to be there as a support, or is she going to just say, hey, it's your child, we're just in a relationship, you take care of your own kid. So it's really important to know, as far as finding a good mommy for your kids. Now, if you got a great wife or a great mommy for your kids, congratulations, really. I am so happy for you. Ping, ping, ping. Shooting stars all over, not stars, but hearts all over here with stars. Yes, we got hearts and stars here. Congratulations that you do have that you're like, yeah, the lady, that is the mom, she don't, she's sweet at times, and other times it's like, when business is business, she lets the kids know the rules, she's really good at, correcting them and knowing them and all that stuff. And not only she's a good mom, but she's a great wife, where, you got to make sure she's taking good care of herself. If she's not taking good care of herself, maybe you can help her to do that. But that would be a good indicator right there. If she's not taking care of herself, how do you think she's going to take care of you and even your child? So I really hope you get a lot of help. And if you weren't a perfect dad, but you gave all your all, and is they're all like all of us. I'm still a mom. It never stopped after my kids, moved on their own. I am still a mom, but I don't control them. Now if it's something serious and health-wise, I'm gonna say, hey, that's not good for your health. I need to speak up. That's where it is my business. My kids' health is very important. So it's always good to speak up with your kids, and let them know that is, not good for you to do that. It's a bad habit, and, because that says that we care. But it's up to them anyway, if they want to listen or not to us on the advice that we give. So if you were that dad that went out to work, or maybe you were the stay-at-home dad, it's all up to you. God might want it a certain way, but God gave it like all up to you on how you are a dad and how you got it all set up. But it's so important that you teach your kids things, and get them prepared for the real world out there. Don't deceive them, and teach them to put a mask on their face. Teach them to be real like at home and out in other areas, in different settings. And also to be honest is a great thing to teach them, and that they gotta work. Working is a big part of learning how to be a human being. We're multi-dimensional spirit beings having a human experience. So you really want to teach, whether you got a boy or a girl, teach them, how to respect the opposite sex, and teach them about not judging people and helping people out, and having balance, and being wise decision making, is what you need to teach them, is to, not to jump into things, be patient, all these things are so important to bring up the kids in a certain way, and teach them not to follow other people, teach them to be themselves and love themselves and self-love. And those are things you might have to, maybe you're not doing those yourself, and it might be something that you got to work on, because how are you going to teach your kids something if you don't know? And it's okay that you might, I don't know all of it either, so even though I know a lot about how to, raise up children, is that all the children are different. You can't handle all your kids the same way. We're all uniquely made and created by God. So we have to, what works for one child isn't going to work for the other one, whether older or younger. But this is a tip, is if you got more than one child, you really want to focus a lot on the oldest, because the youngest are always going to follow the oldest. So make sure you really keep tabs on the oldest one, because depending on how much older, they are to the younger ones, because they look up to the older ones. So they're going to always want to follow what the older ones do. Like I did when I was a girl. I am a girl, but when I was a kid, I followed my brothers. My dad's like, oh, you would have turned out good if you didn't follow everything your brothers were doing. So whoopsie. Starlight was a tomboy, doing some naughty stuff. Starlight, why were you doing that? Why Starlight? I don't know. It was fun at the time. It's always at the time until later on. And so anyway, I'm sorry, I got it's blowing here, and it feels good, the wind feels good, but sometimes it picks up. I got a stove here, so sometimes it picks up stuff and throws it in my eye. So anyway, happy Fathers to all of you, but especially to the fathers out there that gave their all, and yes, you've struggled, haven't you, and if you did something wrong, and as far as abuse goes or anything like that, and there's all different types of forms of abuse. Maybe you yelled at your kids a lot when they were little, or when they were younger, and now they're adults. This is a great time to say I'm sorry. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Just be real. That's all I could say. Be real. Say, I was going through a phase or whatever, because that does happen. So, happy Fathers, and if you are a son of a father, and your father was a good father, make sure, sometimes we don't have money for our fathers or mothers, but at least if you had a good father, or a great mom or great dad, is to say, hey, happy Mother's Day or happy Father's Day. But if they were not a good father or a mother, you do not even have to waste your breath. It's like, turning the tables around. It's communicating with them in a way that they will understand, because it is really, this video is meant for men that are fathers, and also kind of grandfathers. Is if you were a great dad, not that you were perfect, but you did. You weren't trying to trip your kids up, for the future, but you were trying to get them prepared teaching them how to do stuff. You went through a lot with them, and you know, the sons will know if their fathers were good fathers. They will know. They will know, because when they went through whatever they went through as being kids, being sons, you know, when they get older and when they have their own kids, bam, you know, it happens even before that time. But when they start having their own kids, that's when everything really starts, because then they can learn what they want to do with their kids, and they don't have to follow their parents, because not all parents did the right thing with their kids as far as bringing them up. But if you really tried so hard being a good dad, you know, to your daughters, or you know, get them prepared for real relationships, you know, get the boys prepared, you know, like for that, you know, for relationships, you know, to find a wife, you know, and you know, teach them, you know, it's, don't just touch a girl, you know, those boys need to be told that, is that, you know, you need to protect them by saying, you know, you're not allowed to touch a female, you know, her leg or any body part really, and explain to them that, you know, you gotta get to know each other like friends, you know, and friendship takes time, and sex should be sacred, you know, like you know, something that you want to save up, you know, you don't want to waste all that, you know, by going with the wrong girl, or, you know, like for boys at least. So you want to teach them the do's and don'ts as far as, you know, getting them prepared for to how to find a girl. What, you know, like, what about those kind of girls? And he's going to have to learn on his own when he gets out there, you know, and not to get deceived, you know, that people could be one way for a long time and then change, you know, and we all do change, we all do grow, and that we don't own anybody, you know, unless you're in one of those sub-dom relationships, you know, that's a different story. So, you know, so anyway, that's what we should be preparing, you know, and daughters, if you have a daughter, then prepare her to say no, you know, prepare her to use her voice, prepare her to, you know, how to, you know, like to be that example of what kind of man that she ought to go and try to find. A lot of women, that's what happens, even boys, is that they don't have a good example at home, and they don't know how to go out and find that one, because the examples that they had were not healthy for them to, you know, to kind of learn from. So anyway, I do love all of you, and happy Father's Day to you, to you, to you, and to all of you. So I love you so much. You know, your kids will thank you later on. That's when, you know, that's when they go out and they spend some money. They have the money. Not, you know, just because they don't have money, it doesn't mean that your kids don't love you, because they go through challenges in life, just like you did when you were younger. But if you don't have money for your father, you know, for fathers, you know, maybe a card, maybe just a, you know, you could be creative, you know, maybe there's a special song on the, you know, anything, you know, if you don't have the money. But if, you know, if you do have the money, and, you know, you know, maybe your dad's been helping you out a lot lately, and you got the money, and you're like, you know what, this year, he's done a lot, he's been there, I'm going to go out, and I'm going to, you know, take him out to dinner, whatever. So anyway, I do love all of you. Make sure you know, if you got good, great dads out there, let them know. Tell them why, open up to them and say, you know, I thank you for being a great dad. I have friends, and I see how their dads are at their houses, and I can see that you're a great dad. You know, their dads don't do what you do, you know, and the positive things, you know, that you can see in your dad, you know, and you could be like, here I thought I had it so bad with my dad, but then when I see my friends' dads that I think are my friends, that I'm like, oh my, they went through such hell, you know, being kids and being beat and all that stuff. So, you know, make sure, you know, you let the good dads out there say Happy Father's Day, or, you know, or do something special. You know, you can be creative. Anyway, I love you so much. This is Starlight. You can give this video a thumbs up. You can leave a message down below. You can push the notification bell. Plus, you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you could share, and share. Plus, you can also check out my playlist. Never know what the heck is in those playlists, especially some of those topics are kind of like, wonder what is in there. So besides my playlist, you can also find me on Instagram, and that is at 1995 Starlight, or and that is at Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman Starlight. So anyway, Starlight's just having fun with all this stuff. And I do love you, and God bless you all for all the work that all these great dads out there have done to help their kids to be that change that we need to see in the world, is by being a great dad, having balance. So I love you all. If we all always need some areas to work on. So hey, just do your best. That's all I can say, is do your best. There's always room for improvements, right? So anyway, this is Starlight. This is Starlight. Love, light, and peace.